Here's more wrestling news for January 5th, 2022. And your headlines for today include WWE's plans for Jeff Hardy before controversial release revealed, update on AJ Styles' contract, is he going to leave? WWE deal with Peacock has paid off in a major way. Popular WWE stable to reunite outside the company this month. It would be great. NXT 2.0 superstar makes request of WWE higher-ups. Could Ric Flair be finally coming to AEW? Rostered wrestler Teases bringing in the Nature Boy. Tony Khan promises Dream signing set to debut very soon. Top name in AEW tests positive, will be out for the foreseeable future. New Eddie Guerrero project announced outside WWE, and more. We are kicking off with Jeff Hardy, who was released from WWE last month and is currently waiting out his 90-day non-compete clause. Hardy's release came shortly after a concerning performance at a live event and after he refused to enter rehab, and we now have a better idea what WWE had planned for him. According to Fightful Select, Jeff was a factor in a lot of plans, and that had he not been cut, the former World Heavyweight Champion would have had a role on NXT 2.0. The original plan was for Jeff to be revealed as the Shaman of MSK, but with his release, WWE changed plans and went with Riddle instead. It's also said that WWE had to rush to film content with Riddle to make this angle work, and that numerous segments were already filmed with Jeff, which are now unusable. At last night's NXT New Year's Evil, the original Bro and MSK teamed to defeat Imperium, but it was Jeff Hardy who was originally meant to be teaming with the former NXT Tag Team Champions. Jeff Hardy is gone from WWE, but one name who remains is AJ Styles, and fans should get used to seeing him each week on the company's programming. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed Styles being essentially squashed during this week's match with Omos, but said it isn't a sign that he's leaving the company. Meltzer said how Styles recently signed a lengthy deal with WWE, either a 3- or 5-year contract, and referred to the phenomenal one as a lifer who will stay with WWE until he retires from the ring for good. Styles did sign a multi-year contract with WWE in late 2019, and if it is a 3-year contract, it'll expire this year, but we can't confirm just how long his current deal is. What we do know is that in 2019, Styles called his deal his last contract in wrestling, but given that he said his retirement plans include being a recruiter or scout for WWE, it appears that the former world champion is indeed a WWE lifer. In January 2021, a deal was announced between WWE and Peacock estimated to be worth over $1 billion. This relationship has been the source of some controversy, as moments from history have been edited out of shows, but it's hard to argue with WWE's success. During the What I'm Hearing podcast, Matt Belloni noted that at the time of the transition, the WWE network had 1.1 million accounts in the US, with over 1 million making the move to Peacock. In a widespread poll, 1.5 million people said they'd signed up to Peacock specifically to watch WWE content, an impressive feat for the company considering Peacock has roughly 20 million active accounts at this time. All of this is within WWE's first year of their multi-year deal with Peacock, which has evidently paid dividends for both sides. In 2021, WWE released the final members of the Wyatt family, as Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt were cut, both being explained as due to budget cuts. Wyatt hasn't appeared for any promotion since, but Strowman has, and now Adam Scherr will be having a Wyatt family reunion with Eric Rowan. Now going by Eric Redbeard, the two will reunite at WrestleFest 26 on January 22nd to take on the unique team of Bully Ray and Enzo in Poughkeepsie, New York. We know that Redbeard and Scherr will reunite, but there's still no word on what Bray Wyatt has planned for 2022 as a wrestler, as all we know is that he recently undertook a movie project. Whatever the future holds, this month's Wyatt family reunion could mark the first of many reunion matches for the Wyatt family, who continue to have a lasting impression long after their WWE days. At NXT New Year's Evil, Braun Breaker captured the NXT Championship, defeating Tommaso Ciampa in a passing of the torch moment. Not only did Breaker win the match with the Steiner recliner, a nod to his heritage, but there were some barks by the crowd during his entrance, a reference to his father Rick's nickname, the Dog-Faced Gremlin. Speaking to Sporting News, the new NXT champion was asked about his family and said that he'd love to have something happen with the Steiners in NXT. It would be great for both of them to be a part of my career at some point. Who knows? I have no idea, but it would be a cool moment for me because neither of them have seen me wrestle in person. They've watched it on TV. It'll be difficult for WWE to get Scott Steiner involved, as the genetic freak has made it clear for years that he loathes WWE, especially Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. As for Braun's father Rick, there had reportedly been plans for him to appear at Halloween Havoc, but they ultimately fell through. But the second-generation superstar remains positive that he and his father will one day share the screen. AEW news now, as Andrade El Idolo debuted for the company under a year ago and has teased bringing in some serious backup. On the New Year's Smash Rampage, Andrade distracted Darby Allin following his match with Anthony Bowens, and this distraction allowed Bowens and Caster to beat up the former TNT champion. In a tweet after the show, Andrade referenced Allin's partnership with Sting and threatened them both by saying he has many friends in the business and one father-in-law. That father-in-law is, of course, Ric Flair, as Andrade is engaged to Charlotte, and it's worth noting that Flair and the Stinger have a history in the ring. At the time of Flair's departure from WWE, it was believed he'd be joining AEW as soon as possible, but that was before the plane ride from hell was covered on Dark Side of the Ring. Since then, Flair has said he's both open to work with AEW and not looking to sign with the promotion, and while it'll be Tony Khan's decision if he signs, this tweet from Andrade is perhaps the biggest tease of the Nature Boy in AEW to date. We'll have to see if Ric Flair is one day All Elite, but the company does have something big planned for this year, according to Tony Khan himself. When asked by Josh Martinez of Z100 if there's any dream signings coming to AEW this year, Khan announced there are, and that they're in North America, and it's going to be revealed pretty soon. While there's plenty of free agents out there, including Bray Wyatt and Johnny Gargano, there's no word if either side has spoken in depth with Khan, but someone big will reportedly be signing very soon. AEW already has a huge roster with tons of talent, but they'll have to go without Matt Jackson for the foreseeable future. On their joint Twitter account, the Young Bucks announced that Matt has tested positive and will be out for the time being. Matt hasn't wrestled since the December 17th Rampage, where he was on the losing end of a huge 8-man tag match, but he did appear at last Wednesday's New Year's Smash, helping Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly defeat Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. There's no word on when Matt will be back, but we know that both he and Nick signed lengthy contract extensions last November that'll keep them around until 2026, and we wish Matt the very best at this time. And we're ending with Eddie Guerrero, a wrestling legend taken far too soon, who'll be the subject of a new documentary by ITV Studios. Guerrero will be part of a series titled Autopsy: The Last Hours of, which covers the final months of a celebrity's life. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reveals that the doc will focus on Eddie's life and last months before his death in November 2005 and will be available for viewing from ITV in Europe and Reels in the US. This isn't the first time ITV has covered wrestling, as they've previously done documentaries on Randy Savage, Chyna, and Chris Benoit, and now fans will get to learn more about Latino Heat later this year. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.